Hi everyone, I'm Michael Uriarty, or Dr. Mike, and welcome to Technique Talk, the MYK System, and more. This is episode 33 in our series of comparing and contrasting other techniques with the MYK system. Today, we're going to revisit one of the things we've already done, and that is NRT, or Neural Reset Technique. If you want more information on either technique, I have the website links in the description below. If you haven't subscribed, be sure and smash that subscribe button, or hit a like button, or hit a comment, or So anyway, I got a lot more videos coming, and we're starting this new series out. I took a little break. We're I'll get there. We're getting this new series going. I'm going to have a couple different subjects that we're talking about as far as technique goes. So whether you're a patient looking to get help or a practitioner looking for a good technique to learn, this series is what you need. Let's dive in. All right, so why are we going to go back and revisit Neural Reset Technique? Well, we're going to go back and revisit it because I actually got some feedback. I had somebody who gave me some feedback. I don't think I'm talking out of turn here because I'm not going to give away too much information, but Kyle gave me an email, and he and I went back and forth. I actually tried to get Kyle to come on, and I could have done an in-person. We could have talked back and forth. It would have been my first time to do it. I was so excited, but Kyle said no. It wasn't a hard no, but it was a definite no. But anyway, so let's go into just the first email that he sent me, and he goes, "Hey, he goes, I'm listening to this podcast that you have, and I want to clarify a couple of things." And I was like, "Oh, cool! All right, I'm getting some feedback here." So he said, "NRT was created by Lawrence Woods." Because I couldn't find who made it. It wasn't on the website anywhere that I could see. And so he goes on to say, NRT resets happen instantly and don't require the client to stand up to experience the effects. All right, so there's a difference because with the MYK system, the information that we're putting into the brain, and it took us a while to figure this out, but when we do a treatment, in order for the brain to actually make the changes in the body, you have to actually stand up to gravity for the brain to receive this information and then make the changes to come back down. And so with NRT, he's saying that they don't need that. So they're working on a different, they're not working on the same nerve pathways that we are, of course, because that would be the same technique then. So they're doing something a little different. But anyway, so they don't have to stand up. And the effects are so fast that usually it happens before the reset application is even finished. Wow. All right, that's good. So basically you could get a half a treatment of NRT and then still get the results. So knowing that, I would go in and be like, hey, let's just do half, and then, I could pay half, and then, and then we'll see how we're doing, based on that. Anyway, that's me. All right. So the next thing, NRT, at least at the basic level, is done muscle to muscle. However, it's done so fast, usually 8 to 10 seconds, that we can reset entire movement systems in roughly 2 to 3 minutes and fully reset the entire body in under an hour, 80 plus percent of the time. 80 plus percent of the time. The other 20% of the cases are with severe and long-standing chronic muscular pain, such as whiplash sufferers of 20 plus years. These cases may need more than just one session. The longest I've seen was 4 sessions, and this was for someone with traumatic amputation of their middle finger, dealing with phantom limb pain. See, now that's what happens when you're driving along, you're in traffic, you get a little bit of road rage, you just keep throwing up that finger, eventually somebody just chops it right off. So, all right. So at the advanced level of NRT, they use the dermatome to facilitate resets based on my understanding. So in Kyle's defense, Kyle said he's new to NRT. He's just kind of taken the the home study courses, and so that's why he didn't feel comfortable jumping on and like being a spokesperson. I totally get it, right? I totally understand that. But I mean, he's got some really, really good information in here, and so I was just wanting to have a conversation. Instead of me reading some of this stuff, it would be a conversation between two people, and I thought that would be more interesting. But maybe, listen, if there's anybody else that has feedback on any other technique, I'm willing to have a conversation about it and go through some of this. So anyway, so he keeps going. You don't have to get the home study course. The fundamentals are taught in the live teachings, and the home study was put into online form to allow therapists to attend live trainings over the weekend and not have to take an entire week off to learn it. So I guess it's a long class. It must be a long class, so you can take a couple days and then do the rest home study. I think I remember this. Yeah. And but you had to pay for both from my understanding. Okay. But you don't have to take an entire week off to learn it. However, you must pass the home study and the live class to get access to the advanced training. Okay, and which I get with the myokinesthetic, we have the upper and the lower, and you have to have that before you can get into the advanced, because the advanced kind of adds on to the upper and the lower. So I get that. He goes on, it definitely is optional. However, it's not bait and switch. Oh, yeah, because I said that. Because I've heard of people who would have a class and then go, but to get the rest of it, all the videos or all the written information or all the pictures or, so it's not that. So it's just a continuation of. Okay, so that's good to know. It's a continuation of. Although I do understand that CEU providers, do shady things like this sometimes, so I completely understand the assumption. Okay, yeah. See, so I'm not out of line by thinking that, because I've seen it before. All right, by the way, the home study course is not the same cost as a class. Okay, it's about 40%. It's about 40% of it, so it's about 60% off. So it's over half off for the home study course. So with NRT, you take a hands-on course, and then I guess you could stay the entire time in the hands-on course, and it would be like a week of your time. Or you could take like 2 days, take a weekend, and then do the rest online, and that is about 40% of what the other class is. But that way you get to take your time and go through it at your own pace or whatever. And then he goes on to say, I couldn't find any comment section to this, and so I think he listened to it on Apple. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. I'm trying to think what else we're on. But anyway, so you can listen to us pretty much. Amazon, I think we're on the Amazon thing. So, you can reach out and listen to us pretty much anywhere. All right, so that was the first one. And then I sent him an email back, and I just said, hey, Kyle, this is phenomenal, and no pressure, but I would love to have a conversation with you, and then I wouldn't have to read your email. Not that I even told him I was going to read the email. I just thought about this afterwards. But, then we could have a conversation about it and go through and talk about this, and I thought that would be interesting. And he goes, hey, thanks so much for the invitation. I'm not sure if I'm up to the task of answering any in-depth questions about NRT since I haven't completed the full home study yet. Okay. I totally get that, right? I totally understand that. I wouldn't want that pressure either. So I get it. So I'm not going to fault him on that. Although, he goes, I am currently making my way through the material as I prepare for the advanced courses. So maybe after the advanced courses, Kyle and I can jump on and have a face-to-face and have maybe, unless somebody else jumps in here first, Kyle could be the first person that we have an interview with, basically. All right, he goes, but what I can provide is insight into how NRT has changed his practice. Okay. So I don't know. Oh, yeah, it does. It says that he's a massage therapist. Okay, so I see that. So I've been using the basic teachings for about a year. All right, so he's been using it for about a year, so he's got some feedback that he can use, so that's good. And even at just the basic level of an understanding, I've been able to make an extraordinary impact in many lives of my clientele. More specifically, the fact that using just massage alone, I used to see around 5% of my clientele dealing with chronic muscular pain issues. I used to see about 5% of my patients that had chronic long-term muscular pain issues see long-term pain resolution. But by using the NRT, it's now up to 95%. So that's completely flipped his practice. So he went from helping chronic pain people, roughly 5% of those people. Now he's up to 95% of those people. So that's a great compliment to NRT technique. All right. So these resets that we do are about as permanent can be in our line of work. And almost all of NRT clients only need 1 to 2 sessions before they are just done with the work and no longer need it. The only thing I'm going to say to that is, and this is just my 30 years of experience in working with people, the chronic things, the daily habits that we have in our work and in our hobbies. We do repetitive motions in our work and in our hobbies over and over. And it's those things that we do on a daily basis over and over and over again. Not the car accidents, not the slips and the falls and the accidents, and because those things happen, and then we understand why we're having a certain problem, right? Hey, I fell the other day and now my hip's hurting, and that makes sense. Hey, I was in a car accident, and now I'm getting these headaches. That makes sense. But where it doesn't make sense is, I haven't done anything. How many times do we hear that? I just woke up. I woke up and I'm hurting. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything today. I didn't do anything yesterday. I didn't do anything the week before. I just woke up and I'm hurting today, and I don't know why. And now I can't get rid of it. Day after day after day, week after week, month after month. And they go and start seeing all these different people. And then finally they come to us. And so what we have found is, everybody's a little bit different. With MYK, I'm not going to say 1 or 2 sessions. That's pretty darn good. I got to say, pretty darn good. I'm not sure I agree with they no longer need care after that because of the repetitive things that we do. And so what we found was, and the reason that I say this is, we used to tell our patients, okay, you're better now. We're done. We've gotten you to the point you're back, you're functioning, you're out of pain, everything. Why don't let's see what happens. You come back when your problem comes back. That's what we used to say. When your problem comes back, you come back. Otherwise, we're done. What we found was eventually everybody comes back because of the repetitive things that we're doing in our lives and in our hobbies and just the things that we do. So what we found was, once you get someone stable, once you get them balanced again and you get them stable, and you can do a treatment and they hold that treatment, both pain, range of motion, and posture wise, for about a month at a time, and they can do that like 3 months at a time, 3 months in a row, then you can say, hey, you're pretty stable. What would you like to stay up with your care? Would you, for our clinic, you can get a chiropractic adjustment. You can continue to get myokinesthetic treatment. You can come in and get a 1-hour relaxation massage. We used to offer acupuncture, and so, everybody goes, oh yeah, 1-hour relaxation massage. So as long as they stay up with some form of care to counteract, because now they're balanced, but now the repetitive things that we do on a regular basis are going to start to bring us out. But if we come back once a month and we get this balance back, usually, and again, everybody's different, but usually, unless they have a slip, fall, or an accident, we can pretty much stay with that for long-term care. And they're ahead of, and that's what I preach to all my patients, is you want to stay ahead of your problem. Once we get you better, you don't want to wait until you're hurting again, because then it's going to take so many more treatments to get you back to where you're better and pain-free and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to say I disagree, but I disagree. I'm sorry. I disagree that they no longer need work. So I'm gonna disagree with that. All right. Most of my regular clients have seen me for NRT, and now, Here, okay, never mind. All right, he just said what I said. Most of my regular clients have seen me for NRT and now just schedule regular massage for comfort and use NRT as a tool to treat muscular pain when necessary. Okay, so all right, he just corrected his earlier statement. So I agree with what he's saying. All right. So he says the clients who only use our services for pain relief in the first place see me once every 3 to 4 months just to maintain the effects. I would, and this is just to Kyle, I would say instead of waiting 3 or 4 months and getting another treatment, you ought to come in and stay ahead of your problem. And then in 3 to 4 months, you're not going to be in pain. You're not going to be hurting. And so that extra, $70 or $100, whatever you charge for the month, keeps you out of pain. And if you did that for a year, you go a whole year moving good and feeling good because they're coming back before their problem comes back. Because normally, if they wait until their problem comes back, it's going to take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, treatments to get them back to where they were. So I would, if I was Kyle, I would change my verbiage with my patients and just say, hey, now that we've got you stable, let's come in once a month and stay ahead of your problem and keep ahead of your problem, and then that way your problem doesn't come back because you're already seeing that they come back every 3 to 4 months. So you might as well say, hey, instead of getting back in pain, because this is what we do with all our patients. If you're in pain, when a person walks in the clinic, this is the best time to ask them. When they walk in the clinic and they're hurting, I say to every single person, do you want to just get rid of this problem, or do you want to get rid of this problem and make it so that it never comes back? And when they're in pain, they say, I want to get rid of it and I never want it to come back. Cool. That's how we're going to set this protocol up. And to set that protocol up, we're going to get them out of pain usually very quick, usually within the first 1 to 4 treatments. They're feeling fantastic. This is with myokinesthetic. And then we're going to say, now we want to stay ahead of your pain, but now we got to get you stable. Now we got to get you to where you can hold that treatment, in between treatments and get you out to once a month treatments. And then we got to get you to hold that once a month treatment 3 times in a row. And then you're stable. And then we can get you so it never comes back. And that's when we're going to bring you in once a month and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the protocol that I would do. We've done that for 30 years, and it works really, really well to get people out of pain and keep them out of pain. But I'm glad to see that so he's seeing the same thing that we saw, which is it does come back. Eventually it does come back. And what we want to do is keep them out of pain forever. So that's one thing I would change, Kyle. I would start talking to your people and saying, hey, now that we got you out of pain, let's keep you out of pain. Come back in on a monthly basis. And that way in 3 months, you're not back in here. I've been seeing it with my regular people. I've been seeing it every 3 to 4 months. They have to come back because their pain's coming back. Let's change that. So that's an easy solution. And you get that while they're in pain. Do you just want to get rid of this, or do you want to get rid of it and have it never come back? Because everybody, while they're hurting, says, oh yeah, I want to get rid of it and never have it come back. And then for me, as you can see, I like to talk. Every single time a person comes in, I explain to them, okay, so you're here, we're going to get rid of this problem and we're going to make it so it never comes back. We want you to stay ahead of your problem. We want you coming in while you're feeling good. We don't want you to wait until you're hurting, because then it's too late. Then it takes more treatments to get you back to feeling good. At every single visit, I would tell them that until they finally understand, okay, this is why I'm doing it. Okay, so now Kyle goes on. As an example, I had one client recommended to see me for my massage services to help her deal with ongoing bulging disc pains and a daily 8+ on a pain scale. Okay, that's pretty good. After about 2 months of weekly sessions, we got her pain to stay at 0 to 1 range in between sessions. And she started seeing me every other week to maintain these effects. At this point, she was thrilled to go 10+ days without pain and only have minor pains by the time her next session came up. Once I learned NRT and she had her first session of NRT, her pain relief extended to multiple months. All right, that's good. That's good. And like you said, I think you said earlier, you get very fast results, usually 1 or 2 treatments, because that's what we get. If you get disc bulges, if you get peripheral neuropathy, any kind of numbness in the fingers or hands or arms or legs or anything like that, they're usually pretty easy to get rid of. That's something that myokinesthetic does a very good job with. So he says she now sees me for tension relief on the low back about 3 to 4 times a year and schedules massages for general relaxation whenever she feels like having one. I'd put her on a regular schedule. And she won't have to have those 3 to 4 times a year for tension relief in the low back. You'll keep her away from that. So that's one of those things. And then he ends it with NRT is incredible. That's good. It sounds like it is. So that's awesome, Kyle. So I really, really appreciate the feedback that Kyle gave me. It gave us another opportunity to go a little bit more in depth into NRT, neural reset technique. And so I still don't know a lot about the technique itself. And so that's where I would love to have a conversation. So Kyle, once you finish the advanced stuff and you feel comfortable, let's talk. I would love to have a conversation. All right. What else? Oh, I've got some other subjects coming up, not just on techniques as far as techniques for healthcare. There's techniques for all kinds of things. And so I'm going to try and get another video out tomorrow and show you or talk to you about some other techniques for other parts of what we're doing in life. All right. So that was our talk today. I got to say this. If you made it this far, smile.